Hi, friend. Have you ever wondered, like me, why God doesn't give up on us when we mess up? And we mess up in the same way time and time and time again, don't we? One of my sins is worry. And I'll find that I'll worry and I'll come back to the Lord. I'll worry and I'll come back to the Lord. And it's time and time again, I'm worrying about the same thing instead of resting in the Lord. Why is it that God doesn't just give up on Carmen in her worry? Why doesn't He give up on us in our sin when we mess up the same way over and over and over again? Friend, I think the answer lies in today's verse, Malachi 3:6. God does not change. He does not change. So let's read. And yeah, it's simple. For I, the Lord, do not change. Therefore, you, O children of Jacob, are not consumed. Now, we need to set up the context for this. This verse is from Malachi. This is one of the prophets of the Old Testament, and something we need to understand about the prophets, because I think that most of us think of prophecy being a person who predicts the future, right? That's not the case for the prophets of the Old Testament. These prophets were men who spoke truth about the present and what would happen if the people did not turn back to the Lord, did not turn back to Yahweh. All right, so Malachi is speaking truth and God is speaking through him. And in this verse, he says, I, the Lord, do not change. Therefore, you, O children of Israel or Jacob, are not consumed. So my first question when I went to this observation column is, who's involved here? Well, we have the Lord and we have the children of Jacob. And the children of Jacob is just another way of saying the Israelites, right? These are God's people, his children, the people set apart to follow him. And the Lord is Yahweh here, this personal God of the Israelites. All right, so I just asked, what's going on? And here's my answer. I said the context is that through Malachi, Yahweh, the Lord, speaks as a father to his children. All right, so my next question, my favorite question always when doing Bible study is, what does this passage say about who God is? So number one, right off the bat, I see God considers himself a father to the Israelites. He considers himself a father to his children, to his followers. And number two, I see that he is Yahweh. This is the name that he uses for himself. I, the Lord, and in Hebrew, it's Yahweh, this intimate personal name that he used, revealing himself to the Israelites. Basically meaning, look, when I speak, it is so. I am who I am, and when I speak, it is so. All right, so he's the Father, he's Yahweh. And number three, what does he say about himself? I do not change. I do not change. And I put that change in my keyword column. Like, I think I know what change means, but I wanted to see, understand the biblical definition. To undergo change or become different in essence, losing one's original nature. To lose one's original nature. And there were a couple beautiful cross references. You might want to take a moment to look these up. Psalm 102, verse 27, or Numbers 23:19. I love this one. God is not man that he should lie, or son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? All right, so cross references help just solidify the meaning of the verse. We have a good idea of what God is saying when he says, I do not change. But then he goes on to say something about God's children, right? And what does he say? He says, therefore, you are not consumed. And in order to understand what's going on with God's children, we have to read on in this paragraph of Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. We have to go on just a little bit further, and we see this about God's children. We see what is happening, or what was happening in the time of Malachi. The people had turned away from God. They were not keeping his ways, and they were putting him to the test. All right, so what is God saying? He is saying, look, I have been, I am, and I always will be gracious. Look, children, you continue to mess up. You continue to turn away from me. You continue to go your own way and put me to the test. But I am gracious, and therefore you are not consumed. That word consume means to be finished, to be brought to an end. Right? It's like as a parent, and I'm sure we all have done this with our own parents. Even if we're not a parent, we can understand exasperating our parents to the point of them wanting to say, look, I'm finished with you. I'm done. I've had it out. God will never do that. Why? Because he does not change. Therefore, his grace does not change. You know, friends, when we studied the book of Genesis, the number one takeaway women had from that book, the number one takeaway about who God is, was God's love. Number two, God's grace. We have seen it from the beginning till now. So friends, let's just bask in the assurance of God's steadfast love and grace to us. Bask in this idea that he will never change.